Hi, welcome back and thank you for staying with us. We'll be diving right into newspaper review. First off, we have a Daily Trust. Right in front, Bennett praises flak over troops deployment. That's continued on pages 3, 4 and 5. At the bottom, we have International Human Rights Day, why violations continue to rise in Nigeria. That's on page 10 of the Daily Trust. Daily Trust TV journalist win Wole Soyinka Investigative Reporting Awards. That's on page 6 of the Daily Trust. Court sentences police to death for killing student. That's on page 29 of the Daily Trust. Protests in Adamawa community over killing of women. That's on page 6 of the Daily Trust. Make sure you grab yourself a copy and stay informed. All right, next up, we have the Nigerian Tribune. Right in front, we have Fubara joins APC. PDP loses out in South-South, South-East. Says Adeleke joins Accord Party. And we have Senate approves Tinubu's request to deploy troops in Benin Republic community. In a state of emergency, ECOWAS warns as coups, insecurity deepen regional crisis, applauds Nigeria for foiling Benin coup attempt. Burkina Faso did not ground NAF C-130. NAF clarifies. That's on page 2 of the Nigerian Tribune. Now, at the top left, we have Nigeria, Saudi Arabia signed 5-year defense cooperation agreement. That's on page 8 of the Nigerian Tribune. Tinubu urges youth to dream big, sustain creativity, innovation. That's on page 2. Kogi government says 21 children rescued from suspected banditry training. That's on page 26 of the Nigerian Tribune. At the bottom, we have Senate condemns abysmal rise in airfares, summons Minister Fan, airline owners, others. One ticket equals 5 months minimum wage, says Senate President. That's on page 3 of the Nigerian Tribune. All right, next.
Next up, we have the Vanguard as the airspace violation. Nigeria, Sahel states differ over detained aircraft soldiers, and that's on page 5 of the Vanguard newspaper. Nigeria-US ties are treasured robust, and that's on page 13 of the Vanguard newspaper, if you want more on that story. Next up, we have Adeleke moves to Accord, Fubara joins APC, and that's on pages 10 and 12 of the Vanguard newspaper. And lastly, we have kidnapping children, lesser evil than killing soldiers, says Gumi, and that's on page 31 of the Vanguard newspaper. Now, joining us to review the front pages of our national dailies this morning is Theophilus Abba. He's just joining us. Good morning. Thank you for coming.
Good morning. Thank you.
Good morning. Thank you.
Morning. Well, thank you.
All right, let's start with the Daily Trust. Right in front, we have Bennett praises flak over troops deployment. Now, on one hand, the Senate has commended the president by sending those troops, even though he did not get the approval from the Senate. But on another hand, critics have said that this is not the right time for Nigeria to send troops to another country for intervention. What is your take on that?
As somebody who is Democrat-minded, I'm thinking that I support what the president did by foiling that coup attempt. Coup can be infectious. We saw this coup in Niger, saw in Burkina Faso.
We saw it
in Mali.
Yes, Mali.
And
a couple of countries.
And we've seen coup attempts.
Absolutely.
Even
in Nigeria.
In Guinea-Bissau, we saw coup attempts.
Yes.
And some months ago, we heard that there was an attempt to stage a coup. And from the history of Nigeria, we know that military takeover does not translate to good governance. We have seen it that the military ruled Nigeria for many years, and those who have studied that era will tell us that, look, that was a setback for us. So I'm not a supporter of a military coup. And so what the steps that the government took, let me say, Tinubu took, to ensure that that coup was foiled, I totally support it. There are other factors talking about, oh, you ought to have gone to the National Assembly to seek permission before deploying Nigerian troops. You ought not to have done, you ought not to have done that. A whole lot of things are coming on. But if we had allowed the military, the coupists to stay, to take over, maybe shed some blood, and then take over government for 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, for it will be difficult to chase them out of power. And we have seen that, look, the fact that there was a coup has not translated to even changes in the Sahel region. In Mali, we are talking about the jihadists taking over a huge chunk of that country, preventing even fuel from entering the capital city. In Burkina Faso, we still have the same problem. So when they took over, I'm talking to the soldiers now in this country, when they took over, they said, well, when we took over, we chase France away and do. They chased France away, but they've not been able to deal with the security situation. Even Niger Republic, they have a whole lot of challenges. People protested recently because the promises that the military made did not come to pass. So we cannot see the military as an alternative, as a solution to societal problems.
Or a saving grace.
They cannot be your savior. So I don't think. The step that the president took was wrong. I think it was the right step, because the military, if there's a military government, they don't listen to any. There's no brainstorming. They just feel that they know everything and they do whatever they want to do. So we cannot allow a military government in our backyard. So we know that Nigeria has played this role before. There was war in Liberia, there was war in Sierra Leone. Nigeria sent troops there, and they were able to settle it. And this will be the first time. I think 2003.
But you said Nigeria cannot not allow a military government in its backyard, but it is still a military government in Niger Republic. So what is the difference between Benin Republic and Niger Republic having that and Niger not getting that intervention that Benin got?
Well, I think because there was no intervention where it happened in Niger Republic, we have a government that's almost hostile to Nigeria. From what we know, even Nigeria supplies electricity to the Niger Republic.
Yes.
And there are some countries that depend on the Nigerian economy. One of them is the Niger Republic. A lot of things are moved from Nigeria to Niger. A lot of things are moved from Niger to Nigeria. So the hostility between the Nigerian system, government, and Nigeria is so severe that immediately after whatever happened in Benin happened, we understand that the Nigerian police were closing our border, nothing should enter into Nigeria from Niger Republic. But they benefit a lot. In spite of the fact that we have removed subsidy in petroleum, there's still petroleum entering into the Nigerian Republic, and it's cheaper than their own petroleum. So I'm thinking that we don't even need that kind of hostility, because these countries have benefited from Nigeria. Even Benin Republic, Benin's economy depends on the Nigerian economy. A whole lot of cars that enter into Nigeria come through Benin Republic. All the duties on those cars are paid to the government of Benin Republic. And then we import a whole lot of things, even rice and consumables, used clothes, all these Tokumbo clothes and Tokumbo, they come through that place. And the money from Nigeria is actually helping the economy of Benin Republic. So I'm thinking that when you have another hostile government, you have one in Niger Republic, you have another one in Benin, that would not be good for Nigeria. So I think that what the president did was right. The only thing is, every other thing that did not go well, like the capture of some Nigerian soldiers in Burkina Faso, and all those should be, there has to be a diplomatic approach to it so that those soldiers can return to Nigeria.
All right, let's take a look at this headline. A very beautiful one and a great news for Daily Trust. Daily Trust TV journalist Wayne Wally Shoyinka's investigative reporting awards. As you know, Hafiz Hanafi and Muslim Yusuf has emerged as the winners of both the print and television categories of the award, which is the most prestigious investigative journalism award in Nigeria. Kudos to our team. They did absolutely well.
And it takes a lot to be an investigative journalist.
Absolutely. So what is your take?
Yes, actually, all of us are celebrating because at least your TV won the award. Yes. And I have a lot of interest in investigative reporting. And if you read the story, if you read that story very well, it says that apart from the award that was given to Trust TV, no other broadcast platform came as a runner-up or honorable mention. So it was only that story that was broadcast on Trust TV that became the star broadcast investigation in Nigeria in 2024. So, I mean, that means that media organizations are not doing enough investigation. And if you go to the print, where is it Hafiz?
Yes, Hafiz.
Hafiz won the award. The story was quite interesting. If you read it, it talks about a young man who goes to Oluwole in Lagos, procured NY certificate, procured the degree, and used it to secure 2 jobs. And the question is that, who is not watching? Who is supposed to be watching that is not watching? How can a certificate be printed in Oluwole, and there's no DSS there to say, what are you printing? And there's no security, no policeman to say, what are you printing? Because I expect that in a place like Oluwole, where lots of printing takes place, there should be undercover or police officers, agents who will be monitoring what people print. People are printing receipts for what organization? People are printing certificates for what organization? But this young man, he got there, printed these things, went out with it, went to look for work, and got jobs. And I should ask, if anyone comes to you and says he's a graduate of so university, is there no way of maybe verifying from the university whether this guy actually graduated? He got job 1 and got job 2. So there's a whole lot of work for us to do in Nigeria if that keeps happening. The only challenge is that investigative reporting needs funding. And I want to say that for the TV story, the one that won the TV award, Daily Trust Foundation funded it.
Yes.
So we provided the funding support for that story. And so we are part of the glory.
That's why you're excited this morning.
I'm excited.
I don't know. Dr. Theophilus, before we go, this story on the Nigerian Tribune, we saw something different last night. We have Fubara joins APC and PDP loses out in South and Southeast. And we have Adeleke from the APC joins Accord Party. Now, only 4 governors remaining in former ruling party. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, the political geography of Nigeria has actually changed.
Yes.
And it's quite... I'm not really excited about it because the competition will now reduce. And it follows what happened in the Southwest previously. For those of us who've been monitoring the politics of the country, in the Southwest, there was a time that Lagos alone was the AD party. You understand? That was the only party of the Alliance for Democracy. Lagos was under AD. Then after that, there was another election and some states went to PDP. But then, before 2007, we saw a drastic change where almost all the Southwest states became ACN. That was the party that Tinubu founded. So the whole of the South became ACN. And then we are seeing a repeat of that situation, where we are having almost, two-thirds of the country becoming APC in the era that Tinubu has been president. Now, when you have only one party running the country, there will not be room for, let me use the word opposition, but not just opposition, but constructive engagement, because everybody must be loyal. That word entered into the lexicon of politics in Nigeria. You must be loyal, and that means that whatsoever the president says, you must do. And in a democracy, that is not true. Because in a democracy, there must be dialogue, there must be discussion, there must be argument, there must be critical analysis of whatever you do. But if you say, because this guy is president, has become some god, whatever he says is right. We have heard that in the National Assembly, and we keep saying that during the Buhari era it happened, then that is happening. No human being is infallible. And so we insist that the opposition must be given space to operate in Nigerian politics.
All right. Thank you very much, Dr. Theophilus Abba, Director, Daily Trust Foundation.
And I want to say congratulations to you.
Yes, absolutely. Say congratulations.
And congratulations as well.
Thank you very much for being here and reviewing the front pages of our national dailies.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming.
All right, with that, we've come to the end of Daybreak on Trust TV. Make sure you tune in tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. so you don't miss out on engaging and interesting conversations as always. I'm Hawa Adam-Kiawa. Thank you for watching. And I am Mimuna Bagudu. Do well to follow us on all of our social media platforms and also subscribe to our YouTube channel for more news. Have a great day. Bye-bye.